In this video, I'm going to be answering a question that every new and returning player asks at some point while starting out in Souls RNG. And that is, what do I do and how do I become a Souls RNG pro? And this video will answer that, as I'll be going over everything you need to know to become a Souls RNG pro and to join the likes of these leaderboard players, Noras, and maybe get some globals, because this is a long journey. There are many things you have to do, like crafting many gauntlets to assist you on your journey and to get more than 100 auras in your Souls RNG career, because there are actually an insane amount of these that I even haven't gotten all of them yet. So this guide isn't just for beginners, it's also for people that haven't played Souls RNG for a few updates. Even not playing since Era 7 is a pretty big jump, and to be fair, you probably need to learn a few things that have changed in the last couple of months, because this game has changed. Like this Halloween event, which I probably won't be going over in this video, because if you're a beginner, there probably isn't much point to focus on this. So I will cover how do you begin the game, what do you do, the best gauntlets to go for to basically get as much luck as possible as quickly as you can to make every roll count, when you should use Heavenly 2s, what settings to use, what game passes you should buy, and most importantly, how to AFK and truly become a pro with many globals. And after this video, you will know everything to become a pro like many other people. And if you watch until the end, you will know everything on how to become a pro. So I'll guide you through the early game, the beginning of the game, the mid game, and the late game. And you want to get to the late game. This is where it starts getting fun. Let's start at the beginning of the game. Everyone starts here at some point. And the beginning of the game, you want to spend right in front of Jake's workshop, because this is where most of the gameplay happens. And you want to do a lot of stuff. You want to save auras like solar, lunar, undead, Siderium, Magnetic, and Gilded, as these are going to be required in a couple of the gauntlets. We'll go over what you should make. This gets really overwhelming really quickly. You should definitely take this slow, roll one by one, and try get some good stuff. And you want to make as many gear basings as you can in the items tab, just by pressing auto here, and just making as many of these as you can to make all of these. All of the auras that you don't use in the gear basing, just add them separately. And if you run out of inventory, just delete a couple of auras, of course. And definitely, if you are running out of inventory space, complete your daily quests. I have it because I can't even get this one biome. But if they're easy, like roll 100 times or get some lucky potions, definitely try and do these, because if you complete all three, you get a free 5,000 coins, a huge fortune one, which literally gives you an hour of 150% luck. Definitely use this in the beginning of the game. And if your luck's too high, of course you can just press buffs enabled to disable your buffs and go back to unlock. And of course, you better use autocraft, because you're not going to be individually adding auras once you reach something like volcanic device, because adding 1,000 rages would make me go insane. And the better gauntlets you have, the more you can progress, because the more luck you get, and the cooler they look, because seriously, these endgame gauntlets look pretty crazy. So gauntlets, what do they actually do? They let you roll faster, they get you better auras because of the luck system, because the more luck you have, the better auras you get. And how do you even equip these things? Well, if we go into here, I got something like my old volcanic device, which I'll show you how to make in this video. If you have something equipped, you unequip that by clicking on it, and you basically just click here to equip it. You do the same with left, as right under it says right or left, which is where you should place the gauntlet. Remember that, so you don't try to equip your jackpot to your right, as it won't work. Place it on your left and your volcanic on your right. So how do you even auto roll in the first place? I'll go over some settings that you should use to truly AFK, but you just press this button over here. You have to join the Souls RNG group over here to do that, because if you don't, then you can't really do auto rolling and you can't really AFK. But once you do that, it's all good. So now, what gauntlet should you go for? There are a lot of gauntlets here, and trust me, this could get confusing, so pause the video at times, take notes or something, because this will be a pretty long time. So first of all, you can craft a luck glove if you want, while you're saving some 1k plus auras up for the higher ones, but I wouldn't really recommend it. Just do it if you don't have solar or lunar, because kind of confusing gets all those. Remember to craft a lot of gear basics for this. But now we want to craft the lunar or the solar device. Solar device is better because the roll speed doesn't do much. But if you got a lunar, put it into the lunar device anyway, and put the solar in, the gear basic, and everything else. Then you should probably craft the eclipse device if you get both, as you'll need it for better gauntlets later on in the game. And to make eclipse, you go to auras here, you scroll up and go to eclipse. Now this is basically a lunar and a solar and a divinus, which could be a little difficult, but after that, you want to probably make the Exo Gauntlet. Now this thing, not gonna lie, it's quite expensive. You can start putting some of the auras into here. If you haven't made the Eclipse yet, in your aura filter, make sure to equip every single one of these auras. And you might as well just auto craft something like the Sub-Zero. And if you finish off more of the easier auras of the 1k pluses, everything except Undead Exotic, you might as well just start doing the Windstorm. It's pretty similar when it comes to being expensive. It doesn't need an almost 100,000 aura, which is good. But you just auto craft this and get all the wins up. And then once you have enough, you just craft that or Windstorm, as you'll also need this for a better gauntlet later on. Start auto-crafting the Sub-Zero device, as this thing does require quite a bit of extra stuff. If you get the Sub-Zero, make yourself a jackpot gauntlet, as the next gauntlets, they need 1 million plus auras. So I'd recommend just auto-crafting this, getting yourself your first left-handed gauntlet, and not gonna lie, the jackpot gauntlet and the Sub-Zero device is a very iconic duo for early to mid-game players. This thing, these are probably the best 2 gauntlets you can have at this time. But remember to save all of your Hades, Galaxy, Gravitational, Virtual, Magnetic Reverse Polarity, Zeus, and Poseidon, as you will need these for much better gauntlets which are coming up in a small bit of time. So this is where you start entering mid-game. You've left the early game, you're not really a noob, maybe a little bit, but of course, you start getting so the better auras. So you have 2 options here. You can either make yourself a galactic device or a volcanic device. Volcanic is slightly better, but they're basically the same. They're all the same tier. So if you already have Hades after making the jackpot gauntlet, just make the volcanic device. Don't mess around, make this thing. And if you already have Galaxy, make yourself a galactic device. If you have it, you put it in. They're both about the same when it comes to that. It's just that this needs an Eclipse device, which is useful if you've used it before, and a lot of gear basings, while the volcanic device needs a lot less gear basings, but it does need a solar and a windstorm, which is useful. Hopefully you crafted that earlier on. Then if you don't have both, then just still auto craft something like volcanic, because it is better. But you could of course get Galaxy faster if that's the case, to start auto crafting galactic. But making volcanic first would probably be a better idea, because it's slightly luckier, but it all adds up. And this is where you want to probably craft the gravitational device. You'll have the best gauntlet combo of era 7. This thing's a little expensive. If you have a gravitational, you might as well just go ahead with this thing. If you don't, then probably wait and keep on going with the right-handed gauntlets. But this is a little bit expensive. It's the second best left-handed gauntlet in the entirety of Souls RNG, which is probably why the game calls it the highest tier of gauntlets, because this thing is just so good for getting globals. The Exoflex, it's so expensive, guys. 50 exotics took 50 years to complete when this gauntlet came out. So I'd say keep some exotics, but just autocraft the hologrammer, please, and put in so those saved 1 million pluses into here. But they should be a lot easier to get if you have the good gauntlets. Now, this thing is better than the Exoflex. It doesn't require the mind-numbing amounts of exotics, but it's a little bit more expensive down below, but it's just better. So, the Ragnarocker. I wouldn't go for this thing instantly after I made the hologrammer with gravitational device, because 9 1 million plus auras in total is absolutely insane. A lot of people might not have these. This is why you keep your Zeus, Hades, and Poseidons. I'd say just have a go at the Star Shaper. This thing is so expensive, but I'd say it could be a good idea to just start getting ahead of these anyway, even though it's really painful to get this thing. Because the Ragnarocker, definitely painful, but it will take you less time than the Star Shaper. And by now, you probably have some of these. Definitely save your Star Scourges, Hypervoltic Galaxies for this part. You need them. If you've gotten everything here, or you already have the 1 million plus for Ragnarocker, just go ahead with Ragnarocker. It doesn't really harm anything. Definitely better. But now, the final thing you want to do is get yourself a Dark Shader. Now, this is where you'll probably get stuck. I wouldn't 30 million aura put into this thing. This is so expensive, but it's definitely worth it, as this is the best left-handed gauntlet in the entire game. Just make this thing after you make the Star Shaper. So those were all of the gauntlets you should make in order. Let's get back onto my main account so I actually rolled on it. So now we're back on my main, and here's the thing, guys. If you get stuck on any gauntlet, if there's a 1 million plus that you must get or something like that, just make the bank, as this is a late game thing. It's pretty similar in price to the jackpot gauntlet, but you're going to want to get this thing, as it basically gives you passive money, which is more useful for late games than it is early game, to be fair. Upgrade it with lucky pennies, which cost 77,000 coins from Mary's. If you get the 1 million plus before making the bank, just put the money plus in and keep on crafting gauntlets, because you probably don't want to waste time on stuff like banks or anything. It's better to just make gauntlets. So game passes. Game passes are basically essential to becoming a pro in this game. You definitely need quick roll. Without this thing, you roll so slowly. Even with the best gauntlets, you still roll pretty slowly. But without them, you roll at a painful pace. Get quick roll, please. Get someone to get it for you. I don't know, just it's basically required. So if you do want, you can also get VIP. This thing gives 1.2x luck, more quest rewards, more daily quest rerolls, more walk speed and the tag nobody cares about, and it gives you more luck, which is the most important thing. And now VIP plus. This is basically essential for late game, as the auto item collection makes macros obsolete from the old age of era 9 and below. Basically makes it really good with getting potions. You get even more luck if you get VIP with 1.3x total, you get a chat tag and a leaderboard title. And speaking of VIP plus, once I reach 10,000 subscribers, I will be giving away 4 of these VIP pluses, which are really OP by the way. So lucky subscribers that comment Cyber Road to 10k in the comment section with their username. And not gonna lie, it will help you on your journey. Even if you're a beginner player, getting VIP plus will definitely help you. So now for the rest, invisible gear is basically just something to make your gauntlets disappear. It's kinda useless if you're low on Robux, just don't buy it. And merchant teleporter, this is a late game thing. If you're trying to snipe private servers or you want to try get a merchant faster, then you definitely want to try get this thing. So settings, this is a little overwhelming, but it's pretty simple, as I'll tell you the best settings to keep. So you basically don't have to touch any auto equip stuff. So there are a couple of useless auras. Basically it will be disabled by default, but if you click once, you skip them, meaning that you don't ever get them. Don't skip auras that you need for crafting recipes. Keep them unless you're auto crafting. If you use my settings, keep and this will basically just be the same. I'd say skip wording, you can definitely keep out one if you're basically skipping every aura like this, because that's the best idea, because you can pretty quickly just auto equip it or just leave it and you'll get it without having to change any skip wording. Auto equip, keep that one to also equip the auras instantly when you get them. And swap wording, don't even bother. Cutscene skip, usually it's a good idea to keep them above 1 in 100k auras, because the rest you get pretty usually, but you can keep out basically whatever you want above that. Maybe above under 1 million, or just infinity if you don't want to see it, or if you can't have cutscenes. So notifications, these things can get annoying. You don't want to get that notification sound effect every 50 seconds. So I'd say disable the auto ad, disable the coin, disable the item collect, and keep globals on if you want to see if your friend got global or if you got global or something. But I'd say keep them on. If you're talking to someone on a public server and you don't want to get absolutely spammed by these really annoying 1k plus messages, just set it to 9999 like this, and all of them will disappear. Maybe even to 1 million pluses if you feel like it. But this is only really good if you also disable globals. So now, how do you AFK in this game? The most important part, because without AFKing, you will basically get nothing. You have to be prepared to waste thousands and thousands of hours of your computer's life or time to try get some good stuff, because you're hardly going to be staring at your screen while doing it. And if you don't, I'm sorry to say, but you might not be up for becoming a Souls RNG pro. You'll just progress really slowly. AFKing basically as much as you can is something that you should probably do, even 24/7 like this account does. So to AFK, you want to use macros, scripts, or just an auto clicker. That's already enough to AFK. And the in-game auto reconnect is so useful. It used to not exist, but with this thing you don't even need to auto click where the roll button usually is. It basically just makes it instant. When you disconnect, it reconnects you, but sometimes it doesn't work, so I'd keep it on where the reconnect button is, just to be safe. A very basic way of AFKing is to have this auto clicker app. It's just OP auto clicker. It's basically the only auto clicker that people use on a computer. You want to just keep at something low, or 5 seconds, it doesn't really matter. Press F6 and you just auto click. Just leave your cursor anywhere, it doesn't even matter. Maybe on the reconnect button if you're scared of the auto reconnect. And basically just do this forever. Turn off your monitor and just hope that you cook. If you have a low powered computer or laptop, something with a really bad CPU and takes up literally no power, plug it into the wall, turn off your monitor with your auto clicker or macro or script, and just play overnight. That's how most people play Souls RNG. That's basically the best way of becoming a pro in this game, overnight. In about mid-game, you get to the point where you start getting 100k rolls per day if you AFK 24/7, which means that in 10 days, you get 1 million rolls, which is just crazy. And because of VIP Plus, macros are obsolete. Don't really have to collect them. There are macros for other things, like for that goblet up there. But if you can't do any of that, check out my auto clicker guide for Android and iOS. on my channel. They're from Era 9, but they're basically the same. They do have auto reconnect features, which you could keep in case. But you basically just plug into your phone and turn on this auto clicker and just let it auto click overnight. Now, crafting potions. Another pretty important part of the game, which you shouldn't get into too early. To craft potions, you basically need to complete a quest where you find a Stella Star in the cave during Starfall. Get this portal that basically lets you teleport instantly to Stella. But I'll tell you guys where you have to go if you don't have this unlocked. So basically, what you want to do is get right here on the mountain. There's spawn, by the way. Go up here, and where you see this cave, go in, jump down this little hole, and now you are in the cave. Now, the brightness kind of sucks in here, which you should definitely turn up your brightness if you're in here on mobile. But you basically just gotta complete this obby. That's basically all. Do a few jumps. It's a lot easier to do this with VIP, by the way. And complete this obby. So you're over here and you climb right on top of this waterfall. Once you made it, you will see a candle. You just go in here and walk a little bit. And then you see Stella's Sanctuary. All that you gotta do is jump up a couple of times and you found it. All of that, but you could just get the portal. I can't really talk to Stella right now. She hates me because I completed her quest. But now, you've reached the crafting menu. Now, crafting is a bit the end game, or if you're stuck on a gauntlet and you already have the bank. These help you, but you can get them from daily quests a lot quicker. So fortune potions, they give you more luck. You can use them with lucky potions, but you can't use a fortune 3 or a fortune 2 and so on. You can only use one of each type. So haste potions are basically fortune potions, but for roll speed. You can use them with speed potions for even faster rolling, and you can't use them with each other. And heavenly potions. These, a lot of YouTubers and content creators talk about these because they give you 200,000 X luck. They're insane. Don't use heavenly ones. They're basically useless. The Celestials are really expensive, more expensive than the exotics. I'd put them into heavenly 2s because it's just better to do it that way. And finally, the warp potion. Now, this basically makes you roll extremely quickly for 2,000 rolls, but it's extremely expensive. You need an arcane 1 in a million aura for this. Only make this if you're late game and if you want to pop heavily 2s faster the glitch biome. So, when should you even use heavily 2s or even get to crafting them? Only use heavily 2s in the early game or mid game if you got up from some quests, which you should definitely complete as many of them as you could, as they are pretty good. They could give you free heavily potions, free void coins, which I'll go over in a bit. And if you do your daily quest a couple of times in a row in the mid game, you get free heavily 2s. And of course, if you spend insane amounts of time in this, then you get even more. And if you're stuck on something, that's why you should make these after the bag to get that aura and just get out of your life. Try not to waste time making them. If you're making a gauntlet already, just make that gauntlet and only try make them if you can't get that 1 million plus when you're desperate, and use them mostly in end game after getting the best combo of the era that you're in. And to be fair, heavily 2s are really useful if you want those global auras, so that's when you probably want to try getting them. And I'll make a max luck guide, which biomes you should pop in, how you should do it in a later video. Finally, Oblivion potions. These are the star of Souls RNG when they were added in Era 8. They give an insane 500,000 luck. And they let you get special auras, like memory. This thing is a 1 in 100 chance that it's insane. And you can also get one of the rarest auras in the game, Oblivion, which is kind of creative, but these are the best max luck potions before any limited potions like the Pumpkin's Blood, but they're pretty insane. They can go up to 700,000 luck with VIP plus and we're sorry. They can get you globals quickly, but to get them you need 5 void coins from a jester, which is a merchant that has something like a 3% chance of spawning. Really difficult. Each of those void coins costing 500,000 from a Mary, which is a normal merchant, and even from those Marys it's really difficult to get because you gotta put those void coins into the Oblivion potion once you find a jester. The total cost of one is 2.5 million coins, and you can see why you want to make the bag for end game, not waste time on other stuff. And don't try to get these in early and mid game. It's expensive and a time waste, and you won't get them without the bank. So the next step is just use all these steps and try all of this yourself. Maybe not sacrifice your main account that you play Roblox on, but make some alts, gift it with Gamepasses from your main, or if you really feel like it, just use your main and play Souls RNG that way. And become a pro. Become like many people have. So please like and subscribe if you guys want to become a pro and get more guides in the future, because there are definitely more to come which will help you, like private server channel hunting and stuff like that. And well, goodbye.